This is the 2024 Buick Encore GX. Is it better than you realize? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I borrowed this 24 Encore GX Preferred from my friends at Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more about this particular model or anything else they have in inventory, check out the link in the description of the video. And for those of you who may be on the fence and saying, I'm not sure if I want to buy the Encore GX or maybe the all-new Buick Envista. Well, there are some differences between the two, one of which being styling. And while the Encore GX may not have the radical lines of the Envista, it does have more cargo capacity due to the fact that it doesn't have that sport back look with the rear styling on the vehicle. So if you're looking for a little extra cargo capacity, this is a good option. Here on the front end, there are a lot of changes. The winged LED lights up here, the LED headlights, and the forward-leaning front end. As far as the overall design goes, everything comes to a crescendo, and that's very intentional because that highlights the new Tri-Shield logo right here that we'll find on the front and the rear. And let's talk about tire and wheel size here on this trim level. We're looking at 225 on the width, a 55 series sidewall, and 18-inch wheels. Now you won't find two things here on the preferred trim level with these side view mirrors. Number one, they're manually folding, so you won't find the power folding feature. You also won't find turn signal indicators built in, but what you will find is blind spot monitoring. They're heated and they're power adjustable. Take a quick look here at the remote. Again, that new Tri-Shield logo right there. You have remote start, all at a very reasonable price. And when we look at the door handles, a combination of chrome and the body color, you also have the buttons right here on the front and the rear door handles. That's called passive entry. When you have the remote in your possession, you can walk up and push either button on either door, whether it's front or rear, and lock or unlock all four doors. That can be very useful for parents starting your family. You've got one or more kids that are going to be in the back seat. You're probably going to come there first. And here on the rear, on this particular trim level, we'll again find the new Tri-Shield logo. There are other trim levels, I believe the ST and the Avenir, that will also have LED taillights. But there is one more major difference between the Envista and the Encore GX that you might want to know about. Under the hood of this Encore GX is the 1.3-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder. It makes 155 horsepower and 174 pounds-feet of torque. Something you cannot get with the Envista is all-wheel drive. We do have all-wheel drive here, and that means that this model comes with the 9-speed automatic transmission. For those of you who are anti-CVT, that should be good news. How about MPGs? 26 city, 28 highway, 27 combined, and 3.7 gallons of gas for every 100 miles driven. And while you don't have the same lines on the rear of the Encore GX that you have on the Envista, you will find your rear roof spoiler, and you'll find something else you won't find on the Envista, a rear window wiper. Tell me what you think about that. Buick says that the angle of that rear window on the Envista means you don't need a rear window wiper. Well, I haven't been able to test that out yet, so I can't say for sure if that's true. But I can tell you that you have 23.5 to 50.7 cubic feet of cargo capacity. This cargo cover is removable, so you can take full advantage of all of your cargo space. As you can see, you can fold the seats flat. And underneath the floor right here, good news, you have a spare tire. So that's always peace of mind. Good to know that it's there. You do have cargo lighting back here as well. That should probably be LED in this day and age. What do you think about that? And let's see what your rear seat passengers are going to find. When you push down on the armrest area right here, it doesn't seem to be very comfortable, but when you put your arm up there, it does seem to be fairly comfortable. Not sure how long that would last, but I'm not going to leave my arm up there long enough to find out. Somebody else might have to tell us in the comments. a bottle holder right here. I'd say that's more of a bottle holder than a door bin, but you do have that space right there. And we're also going to find rear seat pockets on each side. Now, one thing you won't find back here in an interior of this size, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Rear air conditioning vents, probably not an issue. But you will find a couple of USB options, as you can see down there. And there is a fold-down armrest with cup holders built in. Here on this particular model, no sunroof. Obviously, that is an available option depending on trim level. How about the price on this particular model? $30,900 at Morgan Buick GMC. Let's see what else you get for the price. Armrest, well, the same basic setup, same comfort level. But what you will find here on the front doors that's different is a much larger door bin. We'll also find a manually adjustable passenger seat, but the driver's seat is going to be power adjustable. So a little bit of a difference there on this particular trim level. That's what you get, plenty of space within the glove box right here. And we'll take a closer look at this shortly, but here is the all-new for 2024. You can find it here on the Encore GX. The Envista also has it, the Virtual Cockpit, a total of 19 inches worth of screen. I like how it's angled right here, curved, angled at the driver focused, as is basically this whole area right here. That's a good thing. The instrument cluster for the driver, 8 inches. You have 11 inches over here for the center screen for a total of 19 inches. Pretty good for a Buick. Probably not something you might expect. And we'll find a couple of USB options and a 12-volt power outlet, a little bit of space down here, and some of your features you can turn on and off, including the auto stop start system right there, all-wheel drive, traction control. You see some of the other features here, lane keeping assist, all of that is going to be here. And we'll also have some gloss black down here in this area, or piano black as some people like to call it. Probably not in a bad location, because I don't think that's going to fingerprint up too badly. I don't think a lot of people are going to be touching that area. You do have your drink holders right there and the conventional style shifter. There is your power parking brake and a little bit of space in front of the center console. Maybe the center console could stand to be a little further forward, at least the lid, although it does work as an armrest. It just seems that it would be better to be a little further forward. It depends on who you are, I guess. Now, it may look like there's not a lot of space in there. The good news is that that tray is removable. So if you were curious about that, well, now you know. And a quick look up here on to the upper console so you can see what is here. Obviously, the absence of some controls because we don't have a sunroof. And no big surprises here on the driver's side door. The typical controls and features you would expect to find. Here is the control for your headlights. You can drop the lever right here to adjust your tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel, and then make sure you put that back in place right there before you take off down the road. And here is a better look at what we have with the Virtual Cockpit. A very nice modern look, actually. Not something you might expect from Buick, but Buick has come a long way over the years. Not really as much of what we may have known at one point as more of our grandparents' vehicles than anything else. So here's what we have. Obviously the control here for your turn signals, all that good stuff right there. And then you can control your front and rear window wipers on the right-hand side of the steering column. Your steering wheel mounted controls, pretty easy to deal with. And then over here with the touch screen, if you want to pair your smartphone, it's wireless. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, pretty easy to deal with. And when you go into reverse, not a surprise or anything unusual here, a backup camera. I actually still have people asking me every once in a while if a vehicle has a backup camera. If I happen to not show it, or maybe they skipped through the video and didn't see that, you're not going to find a vehicle in this day and age, at least in the United States, that does not have a backup camera. Those are actually supposed to be on all vehicles by the 2020 model year. And right here, something that's a little old school, integrated with the modern technology of the Virtual Cockpit, a knob for controlling the volume, for the radio and turning that on and off. But a very simplistic system here, that's for sure. Not an overload, and that's a good thing for people who maybe haven't had this kind of technology before, and you're saying, I'm a little scared of that technology, I don't want to have to learn it, I'll never use all of it. There's really not a lot here, but enough to get the job done. And you can see that you have teen driver right there. Rear seat reminder can be turned on and off. And how about our safety features right here? Well, you have automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, lane change alert, rear cross traffic alert. There's a lot going on here for the price. I think you get quite a bit based on what you're paying. And then your apps right there. Everything pretty easy to figure out, pretty easy to deal with. And as you can see, the screen is not laggy. It responds very quickly. That's a good thing, always a plus. And what about the overall driving experience? Well, a lot of the time when you drive a smaller vehicle like this that's light, it has a short wheelbase, it tends to have a choppy ride quality to it. But I think the Encore GX lives up to the reputation of Buick of having a cushy riding vehicle. You know, as I said earlier in the video, a lot of the time we think of our grandparents' vehicles, or maybe great-grandparents, for some of you watching this video, depending on your age, of the past. But this is very different from what they had in the past. The ride quality here is still comfortable, but you have the latest in technology from Buick. As I've shown you in the video, it's very easy to get to everything here. I really like that. The driver doesn't have to reach real far or anything like that. It's very convenient. Overall, believe it or not, the acceleration is a little surprising. While you don't have a ridiculous amount of horsepower here, that's not what it's about. But at the same time, when you need to get down the road, it seems to do just fine. Now, that's just with my 175 pounds in the driver's seat. Add some more weight here, I don't think it would make a major difference. Now, one thing I do want to say here, and there's a reason for this, you won't see a lot of Buicks having problems with the engine, with the transmission, all of those problems. Not a lot of mechanical problems. Part of the reason for that is because the people who buy these vehicles, they're not going to go out and try and hot rod it or anything like that. If you drive it like it's meant to be driven, what you'll find is that it's definitely not going to let you down. So just cruise down the road, drive it as you need to, but most people driving these models are not going to just floor it all the time, and I don't know that you'd really need to. As I said, it may surprise you how well it accelerates to get down the road. Definitely not neck-snapping performance, but it's not meant to be. But overall, a very well-balanced vehicle. Now, I'm 5'10". Sometimes I will receive questions in the comments section saying, could somebody over 6 feet tall drive this vehicle and be comfortable or sit in the front seat? Yes, I believe so. There's a lot of room left. At my height, 5'10", I have plenty of headroom. I do not feel cramped at all. I also have a lot of adjustability left in the driver's seat. So yeah, I do believe somebody who is well in excess of 6 feet tall could be comfortable here. Maybe some of you can share that experience if that's you. Maybe you're over 6 feet tall and you have driven one of these vehicles, sat in the driver's seat, sat in the passenger seat, whatever the situation is, you can probably tell us down in the comments section what your experience has been. But overall, I must say, for what you're paying and for what you get, I think this Encore GX is a really good choice. And I know in the past, a vehicle that cost $30,000, it's been a long time, but you did get a lot for that money. Yes, things have changed quite a bit over the years, but in this modern day and age, I think you get quite a bit for the price. This would really be a good starter vehicle for somebody. It's unbelievable that we can say that now at $30,000. It just is the way things are these days. So tell me what you think about the 2024 Buick Encore GX. Is it better than you realize? Is this something you plan to buy? Maybe you've Already bought one? Tell me about it. What trim level? All that kind of stuff. I'm always curious to know. And don't forget about the fact if you want to buy this model from Morgan Buick GMC, check out the link in the description of the video and tell whoever you talk to at the dealership that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you. Let them know that you saw my video. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at the dealership. I also want to say a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.